Hello everybody, welcome to today's training. My name is Marissa. So before we begin, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to be here today. Laundry is one of those things that I think a lot of us feel like we should naturally be able to stay on top of. But when I talk to clients and when I see people's comments on the Facebook page, you know, so many people are saying, look, we're supposed to be able to do it, but we're really struggling with it. And we feel quite silly or quite foolish that it's not something we have a handle on. And you know what? If you don't get on top of your laundry, it takes away from your other time doing things that you love, you know, or spending time with your family or just relaxing. It's something that never really goes away as a chore in our lives. And I just thought it would be nice to put a few tips together to share with you, just in case it was nice and handy and was able to lighten your load as far as doing your washing goes. So that's why we're here today. Before we get into all of the details, I want to do a quick introduction in case this is the very first time that you've met me. So yeah, my name is Marissa Roberts and I blog over at beautifulyorganised.com. Organised is spelt with an S in the middle instead of a Z just because I live in Australia and that's how we spell it over here. So just in case you were wondering, I get a lot of questions about the spelling of my website, so I thought I'd cover that now. That's a picture of me up the top of the screen here. I am in my 30s. I have two beautiful daughters. This is Sophie over here and this is Georgia over here. Sophie's 5 and Georgia's 3, and they're really my inspiration for getting organized. A bit of background about me. I had my girls a few years ago. I was always somebody who, I guess you could say I was kind of naturally an organized person, but to be honest, it's something I never really had to think about before. I was able to keep my house tidy, stay well presented, get to work on time. All of that stuff just tended to come naturally for me. But when I first had kids, especially that when they were little, I was shocked at how hard it was all of a sudden to stay on top of things that I had taken for granted before. Washing was a really big one, but there were other things as well. You know, suddenly cooking was harder when I had a little baby at home. There were days where housework in general just went out the window and I felt really guilty and overwhelmed by all of that, especially seeing I was home all day long. And I still remember the time it got to be 2 p.m. and Sophie was a few months old, and I remember walking past a mirror and realizing that I hadn't actually brushed my hair in a couple of days. And you know, now when I talk to other mums who have newborns, I say to them, look, you've just had a baby. You don't need to be super mum. You've just got to, you know, keep them fed and the rest will come. But at the same time, I completely understand that overwhelming anxiety and guilt and just feeling like you can't handle everyday life when you have a little baby. So yeah, generally for me, that happened when I had my kids. I felt quite overwhelmed and I didn't like that feeling. I didn't want to feel like life was overtaking me and I couldn't keep up. So I started Googling easier ways and researching easier ways to do things in everyday life. So everything from quick ways to wash the dishes, make the bed, how to get my babies to go to sleep and actually stay asleep at nap time, pretty much everything that could make my life easier. I started putting a lot of time and effort into finding that out. And I blogged about it along my journey. I blogged about it at beautifulyorganised.com. And over time, you know, other mums started asking me questions, you know, what's a quick way I can do this in my life? Or can you give me a couple of hints on how to do this job a little bit faster? Or how do I get my family on board with, you know, keeping the house tidy and things like that? And so over time, that blog really grew into a bit of a business too. Now I coach other mums on, I guess you could call them mothering and parenting hacks or lifestyle hacks. And I go and help other people face-to-face get their home in order. And also we do Skype coaching now. And, you know, this has really become a big passion for me now. It hasn't just helped me in my life, but, you know, now it's given me the ability to really help other mums as well. So yeah, that's my story. That's how I came to be here. I actually filmed a version of this laundry webinar a couple of years ago, and I had a few new pieces of information that I wanted to throw in. So I thought I would refilm it today and give you guys access to it again. So let's start. Okay, so I wasn't always well put together like this. This is kind of more like what I was like a couple of years ago. Very tired mum, and this is what my washing basket looked like. That's an actual picture from my home. of our own washing overflowing when the kids were very, very little. I think Georgia might have been just born back then, and Sophie was a couple of years old. If you're struggling with your laundry, I get where you're coming from. I really do. Yeah, so that's the why. So today I want to cover with you a few tips that I think will really help out if you're feeling overwhelmed with your washing overflow. So what we're going to do is talk about how to actually stop that washing basket overflow in your home. I also want to cover a few easy ways that you can deal with the clean washing, because a lot of mums are writing in saying, look, I can get the washing washed and dried, but then I've got piles of folding all over my house that I just can't get to. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that today too. I have my favorite laundry tools that I want to share with you today, just things that make the job a little more enjoyable and a little bit easier. And I have a few sneaky little tricks that I use when it comes to doing my laundry that I'll share with you today. I should point out too that some of those might not be necessarily sneaky, but they are incredibly daggy and pretty embarrassing. So yeah, stay tuned if you want to see those. And then at the end, I talk a little bit about how we can apply the tips that we learned today in other areas of your life, which is something that I help other mums with as well. So stay tuned to the end if laundry isn't your only thing that you're worried about, because the tips that we talk about today, you can actually turn them into ways to make other parts of your life easier as a parent as well. Okay, so let's get started. You should all have a copy of your printable pack for today's training. Now, if you haven't got one already, just press pause, send me an email and ask for your printable pack and I'll make sure you get one. And if you can't wait, because, you know, if you're not in Australia, I might be asleep while you send me this email. So if you can't wait until you get your printable pack, then just grab a pen and paper and jot down some notes as we go. And I'll send it to you as soon as I can. So just send me an email to marissa@beautifulyorganised.com. If you're missing a printable pack, there should have been one come with your registration email from when you signed up today. But yeah, just in case, that's how you get it. In your pack, you'll get a cute and colourful print to put up in your laundry that reminds your family to give you a hand with the washing, and I'll show you how that works in a second. You also get a really simple and effective laundry schedule template. I don't know if I'm meant to say schedule or schedule. We're going to go with schedule now. It's just a little simple tool that I created that really lightens the workload when it comes to doing your washing, and I thought that would help you guys as well, so I've included that. And I also have just some worksheets for the rest of this online class so that you can fill it out as we go. The reason I've done that is I've done lots of online training before where I've learned so much in the hour or so that I did the training, but then as soon as I hung up at the end, or, you know, clicked off the training at the end, I got distracted by life or the kids or the phone ringing, and everything that I learned would just go completely out of my head and I'd forget all about it. So I thought I'd include some worksheets so that if you're anything like me and you need to jot down some notes as you go, you've got a space to do that in. All right, so let's take a look at your cute and colourful laundry poster. This is just something it's almost silly. It's so simple, but it's really, really cute and fun and vibrant, and actually helps a lot in my household and in a lot of the mums that I work with. When they put this up in their laundry too, they find that it makes things easier. It gets their family on board, helping them out some more, which is always really good. Basically, you just print this piece of paper out, stick it up in your laundry, and make it the golden rule when it comes to washing. Everybody needs to check their pockets before they put their washing in the laundry basket, because whatever you find in those pockets is yours to keep, or whoever is doing the washing. If they find it, they keep it. So that includes money, toys, lollies, anything else fun. I know that you might not be too passionate about what you find in your kids' pockets. Sometimes it's leaves and dirt and sand when it comes to my children. But the theory and the rule around it is really to coax your loved ones into going, you know, taking that second and going, oh, okay, I better just empty my pockets before I put my washing in the laundry basket. And if it's actually on the wall and it's not just a rule that you have to nag them about in person all the time, if it's something that they see, you can put it, you know, right up above your laundry basket. It's so much easier for them to remember to do it over time, and it becomes a consistent action that your family just does naturally after a while. So yes, put that up in your laundry or wherever you have your washing basket, and remember to let me know if it helps you in your family as well. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is the simple laundry schedule that I created. I call it Laundry Made Easy, and basically it's, you know, again, something really simple. All I've done is taken the days of the week and put them on the sheet here, and then asked a question here next to some blank boxes that says, what are you washing today? And on the next slide, I'm going to show you how I actually use that in my home. It's really, really easy. We just write a type of washing down on each day. I find we get better wear and tear out of our things if we wash them in groups, you know, sheets together, towels together, instead of mixing towels and clothes and things like that. I just find that we get a lot more use out of our clothes. They stay in good condition for longer. So we will have certain days that we wash certain things. At first glance, you would think, wow, that's very... very specific to have a particular day that you wash particular things on. And, you know, by no means am I telling you guys you have to do this, but honestly, I have found it has helped a lot in our household. So our example here, we do our sheets on the Monday, kids' clothes on the Tuesday, our clothes on the Wednesday, the parents' clothes. Thursday is things like tea towels, Friday is work clothes. This is particularly handy if you've got someone in the family who's like a tradie or has particular clothes that get really, really dirty compared to the other clothes and you don't want to ruin your other clothes. Saturday is towels, and Sunday I say other in our household. So anything I've forgotten gets washed on a Sunday when I've got a little bit more time and I'm home. Now this is really handy to have up in your laundry because it's a really good way for you to stay on track of what needs to get done. I get a lot of mums writing in saying that they feel really bad because they forget to wash towels and sheets and things like that. They just forget when the last time was that they washed them and they didn't have a routine in place to remember how often to wash them. This takes care of all of that for you. You don't have to keep that in your head anymore. You've got it written down and visible whenever you walk through your laundry. It's also really helpful if you have a loved one in the home who wants to help you out and is constantly asking you when and how to do chores around the house. They mean well, but it's just as much work to show them how to do it as it is to do it yourself. So yeah, this is a good way to help other people. So my husband, for example, if he notices that we're really busy on a Monday and he wants to help me out by putting a load of washing on, he knows to just grab the sheets off the bed and put them in the washing machine for me. He doesn't have to stop me or call me or find me and say, what are you washing today? How do I sort these clothes out? He just grabs that description and puts it in and lets it go. And this works with kids as well. If you've got older kids and you're asking them to help you out around the house, if you can be really, really specific with what you want to ask them, they're more likely to do it without complaining. So that helps out a lot. Okay, let's take a look at the next slide. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about how to stop the overflow of dirty laundry in your home. So this is a real life picture from my house a couple of years ago, and it was when I was at the peak of my overwhelm, and I realized one day that the reason our washing was overflowing was really down to three main key factors. One was we were having a lot of wet weather at the time. Two, I'd suddenly gotten really busy because we had a second baby and we were juggling a lot of stuff at the time in our lives. And number three, I didn't enjoy doing the washing. So I had no motivation at all to get on top of it. I wanted my life to be easier, and for me that was, you know, it was easier to pretend I didn't have any washing to do than feel bad every time I needed to go and do the washing. So yeah, those were the three main reasons that were really coming up for us. So in order to get over them, it was really important for us to look at each one of those reasons and think, you know, what are some ways that we can fix this? Now I have a little system that I use called perfect versus easy, and this is where I just grab a piece of paper and a pen, I divide that piece of paper into 3 columns, and I say in the first column, in a perfect world, what would it look like if I was on top of this job right now? And I write that all down. And then in the second column, I say, what's currently getting in the way of me doing that? And I write down all the things, all the objections, all of the little hiccups that are getting in the way. And then the third part of the page, I just write down, what's an easier way that I can get this done? So I'd like to invite you guys to do that activity and yeah, do it with your washing. So let's say we were taking number 1 and we were saying, you know, wet weather was getting in the way of us doing the washing. Okay, so in a perfect world, what would it look like? Well, we'd be on top of the washing. It would be sunny weather all the time. We would have plenty of space to hang the washing and it would dry really quickly and we could bring it in. Okay, What's getting in the way of that? Well, for us, it was the wet weather. It was raining all the time. We would put out the washing to dry, and then it would just take double the time that it normally took. We didn't want to use our dryer all the time because our electricity bill would skyrocket, and the house was really noisy when we ran our dryer as well. So yeah, that was what was getting in the way of us doing that washing. And the way to make it easier that we came up with when we sat down to do this activity was to go, okay, well, where are we going to find places to hang the washing in the wet weather? You know, what if we still had to do 3 loads of washing or 2 loads of washing in one day? Where would we hang it if it was a non-negotiable? We absolutely had to do it. The world would end if we didn't. And once we got into that frame of mind, that's when we started getting really creative with stuff like that. And I'm going to show you a couple of examples of creative hanging spaces that we use in my house at the moment. So yeah, I'd like to invite you guys, if any of those reasons are ones that are happening to you too, I'd like you to do that perfect versus easy activity. Feel free to hit pause and go backwards and hear how I went through that again as many times as you want to. And if you need a hand, just send me an email. I will give you a hand with it. But yeah, basically if you do that at perfect versus easy activity with wet weather, too busy or no motivation, then that can help you out a lot. The rest of the tips that I talk about in the session today should cover a lot of those things for you. But if not and you want some help, you just let me know. I'm here for you. Okay, let's take a look at avoiding the pile up of washing. So this is where I'm going to show you guys some of the more creative hanging spaces that we use around our house. Now, the area that we live in is really, really damp. I live in New South Wales in Australia, and we live in an area surrounded by wetlands, which is actually quite beautiful. There's a lot of water. We have beautiful ducks and other birds around. It's quite lovely and green and gorgeous, but it's very damp here. So we have a lot of wet weather to worry about. So for me, yeah, finding creative spaces to hang the washing where I could dry it without needing to resort to using an expensive drying machine was really, really handy. So I'm going to show you 5 different ways that we hang our washing when our weather is wet. And in fact, I have to tell you, I use these ways now even when the weather is completely dry and sunny, because I'm not a fan of standing out in the hot burning sun either, hanging my washing. Okay, so number 1 is your simple clothes airer. Here's a little photo of it here. We use this for the smaller things in our house, so it's perfect for baby clothes, kids' clothes. I mean, Sophie's 5 now and her clothes still fit on this airer. And basically we just set it up in the lounge room or in the playroom in our house where we've got a little bit of extra room to move around, hang the clothes on it, and they basically dry within a 24-hour time frame. So because it takes things 24 hours to dry when they're hanging like that, this is where that laundry schedule really comes in handy. So if we're washing kids' clothes at the same time every week, it doesn't really pile up as much. Yeah, so that works out really well, that little airer here. Nice and portable, nice and light, easy to move around. Next one we do is we have a little entertainment area in our backyard. It was basically just a concrete slab when we moved in with a little tin roof over the top. And Ben, my husband, put up some tin walls and some shade cloth around it. And it's got some little plastic blinds on there too, so it protects against the weather. And he's put a retractable clothing line in there for me. So we basically just stretch it out and hang the clothes on there. Nice and easy, right? And if it's raining, it doesn't get on the clothes. And they generally take a full 24 hours to dry as well because there's no, breeze coming through or anything like that. You still get the sunlight on it, but yeah, about a day to dry the washing. Here's the other examples that we use in the house. This is really, really cool. Okay, so this is something that I think you can find in Bunnings at the moment. Ours is the Hills brand, like a Hills hoist washing line. Yep. Okay, so basically what this is a retractable set of bars that you can use as a washing line in your bathroom or your laundry. So you basically just bolt it to your wall and these parts here fold in when you're not using it, so it just looks like one white bar across your wall. But then when you need to dry some washing, you just pull these extendable bars out and we take the kids' clothes or our clothes, pop it on a hanger and just hang it over the bathtub, and that gives us a whole nother space to dry our washing overnight. Very, very handy. That's our actual bathroom in there that you're looking at. The next thing we use is one of those portable clothing racks. So I got one from Kmart for about $29, or it might have been $39. And as you can see, this one has 2 racks attached to it, and one can be lower than the other, or you can bring them up to the same height. I find if I keep one lower than the other, I can hang double the clothes on there, and we just use those little felt coat hangers that hold everything on. Whether it's damp or dry, they stay really well on those coat hangers. So yeah, that's our playroom out the back. You can see all the kids have their toys hanging on the back of the door there. It gives us another area that we can hang our clothes. And the very last one that I want to show you is quite cool. I only came across it recently. This is a little coat hanger stick that I found at a shop called Daiso, which is a local shop here that sells everything in it for $2.80. So very, very handy. Our shower in our bathroom has one of those handheld shower heads, so you can actually take it out and it's hanging down there, just down the bottom of our shower. And you can get this little pink stick thing. I think you can get other colors as well. But basically, you put the end of this stick into the handle or the holder for the shower head, and then you hang your coat hangers in all of the holes here, and then you get a whole nother area to hang your wet washing in if it's raining outside and you need the space. How cool is that? I had no idea these even existed until a couple of weeks ago, and I love it. It's made a really big difference in our house. Okay, so that's my tips on how to find creative spaces to hang your washing when you're running out of room and it's contributing a lot to the pile up. So, other things that we do to avoid the pile up of washing in our house, and things that I recommend to other mums, are quite simple ones, but they make a really big difference. So the number one thing I'll say now is you just got to make it a habit. If it's a routine or a rhythm that you've got going on in your life, you're going to find it a lot easier. So in our house, we do one load every morning and hang every evening. You have about 12 hours before it gets musty, even in the summer. So you don't have to wait for your washing to finish and then hang it. Or you can do one load every night, which is when you can take advantage of cheaper energy prices, and just hang it in the morning before you leave the house. However you do it, if we do it like this, it's like one cycle that keeps getting repeated every 24 hours. So every time I go to hang a load of washing, I bring in a load of washing at the same time, so it doesn't get on top of each other, and I've always got room to hang more. Hope that makes sense. Also, yes, use the schedule that we've given you here in the printable pack. It just means that your washing is pretty much on autopilot. You never have to worry about wondering what you're up to when it comes to washing. Your family can help out easily, and yeah, it makes things really specific so you know what to expect and what you need and what is available each day of the week. This is a really fun one on the next slide on how to avoid piling up of your washing. I'm a big believer in finding what motivates you. And so for me, that comes down to 2 important things. Number 1, you have to find a way to reward yourself for doing something that you don't want to do. It's not just for the kids, a reward system, it's for you too. So if you stay on top of your laundry for a whole week and you get that whole schedule done, then take yourself out to the movies, or go and get a new magazine to read, or go and get your nails done, or take a nap as a reward. Whatever's going to make you happy, you've got to put those things in there for yourself. It's going to help motivate you to keep going even when you don't want to do it. The second way is to have some fun with it. And my favorite way involves putting a little basketball hoop above our laundry basket and getting the kids to try and make a, what do you call it? Make a goal? Score a basket? Whatever it's called. We get the kids to throw in their washing like that when they go to have a shower at the end of the day. It's shower time. Let's see if we can get the laundry in the basket. It's just something that makes it a little more fun, and it saves me from going around the house and having to find all the dirty washing everywhere in everybody's bedroom. So yeah, have a bit of fun with it. I'd love to know how you guys have fun with your washing too. So have a think about that over the next few days and send me an email and let me know what you come up with. Next thing I want to talk about is how to get rid of your existing pile up of laundry. So it's all well and good for me to tell you how to avoid a big pile of laundry, but if you've already got it, I've got 3 tricks that are going to help you get rid of it. Number 1, commit to double loads of laundry until that pile up is gone. Now you can be really clever with your drying options. So for example, do all your tea towels and hang them on your clothes horse. Put all the longer clothes or the adult clothes on the line so you can do 2 loads a day instead of 1. But make sure you're doing twice as much as you normally do so that you can clear out that backlog. It's only going to be for 1 week at the most. It may only be for a few days, but it's going to feel so good when you see the bottom of that washing basket. It's totally Totally worth it. Okay, number 2, wash what you really need first. Okay, so prioritize your sorting. It'll only take an extra minute when you're first getting into all of this, but when you're doing your laundry schedule at the start, really look at what do you need first? What are you always running out of? What do you have too much of that you could pare back on? Yeah, have a look at your prioritizing. And number 3, cheat if you have to. Okay, so you know that feeling of, oh my goodness, my washing basket is overflowing, I've got clothes on the floor, I can barely shut the door to the laundry or the bathroom or wherever you keep it. You know what? You can get foldable washing baskets at Kmart these days for $10. Get that out, take the washing off the floor, put it in the basket, and at least make it less overwhelming to look at. So I'll show you a photo of that in a little while, but yeah, that'll make things a bit easier for you. Let's talk for a second about dealing with clean laundry. I'll talk about ironing first versus not ironing. And my advice here is it's completely your call. You know, some people don't iron their clothes at all. They just get non-iron clothes or don't mind the odd wrinkle or two. And other people really feel like everything in their home has to be ironed before it's worn. I don't want you to feel like you have to commit to anything that your friends or loved ones say you have to. You make the decision on how much you want to iron in your home, okay? In our house, we take the perfect versus easy concept to ironing as well. I was getting overwhelmed trying to get all of the ironing done, but I actually liked that slow, methodical, rhythmic motion of actually doing the ironing. I quite enjoyed that, but I never had time to do it. So what we do now is we sort out what's going to be ironed in bulk and what's not. So in our house, I take some time every week to sit in front of my favorite show on TV, and I iron all of our work clothes or our special clothes and my husband's clothes as well, so that he can just pull his clothes out of the wardrobe and get ready for work early in the morning, because that frees him up to do the kids' lunches for school just between you and me. So that is worth my effort every weekend. Things that we do not iron in bulk, all in one go, is my everyday clothes, because what I do each week with different clients, you know, changes quite a lot. So some days I'm in clothes that I need to get dirty in, and some days I'm in really nice clothes if I'm doing a workshop. So I tend to just iron the night before when it comes to me, and I don't iron the kids' everyday clothes either in bulk. I'll do so for school clothes, but all of the casual stuff just gets put in their drawers and I don't even iron it anymore. Not unless it's something special they're going to, like a party. The reason I don't do that is because my kids have this really fun game that they play that's called Go on an Adventure, and they get their backpacks out, open up their clothing drawers, take all of their beautifully folded clothes out and dump them in their backpack and pretend they're going on a hiking adventure. So you can imagine how awful that would be for me if I spent 2 hours ironing all their clothes and then saw them playing that game. And they enjoy the game, it's cute, I want to let them play it, and it gets me out of ironing, so I'm happy with that. Alright, things that we never iron at all. I don't iron sheets. I have a really good method of folding sheets as soon as I get them off the line so they don't get wrinkly. If you want to know about that, just send me an email. I've got a video on how I fold fitted sheets really easily. So I can send that to you if you want to see it. I never iron underwear. I never bother ironing sleepwear in my house either, because nobody's really going to see it except me and my husband. Yeah, so that makes that easy. Let's talk a bit about folding now, everybody. I like to refer to the art of folding as laundry zen. I think it's really important to look at that big mountain of clean washing and not feel overwhelmed. So what I want you guys to try and do, if you feel anxious when you look at all of the folding you have to do, I want you to take a step back, take a moment and look at it, and stop viewing it as a big chore to do, and start viewing it as a beautiful opportunity for quiet, rhythmic, mellow time to chill out and fold at the same time. So for me, I tend to do my folding and washing hanging at night. Once the kids have gone to bed, I'll bring in a load of washing and hang a load of washing at the same time. And then I'll either fold in the lounge room while I'm watching TV, or I'll fold on that pool table we have in our outdoor area out the back that you saw the photo of. I'll do all the folding there before I go back into the house. Kids are in bed, so they don't need me. It's the evening, so there's nothing pressing me with time, and yeah, I really enjoy it. So for me, it was about actually making a conscious decision to enjoy that process more. Let's talk a little bit about easy putting away. I've got a great tip for you from my friend Leanne, who did a workshop with me a couple of years ago. And Leanne, this has stuck with me ever since then, so thank you very much for that. Leanne, when she takes her clothes off the line, she goes person by person. So if she's washed the whole family clothes in one go, she'll go through and take her clothes off all in one go and pile them together. Then she'll take her husband's clothes off all in one go and pile them together. Then the kids' clothes, one kid at a time, and pile them together. So it's easier to put them away when you go back into the house. Nice and easy. Fold as you go if you want to, so that you don't have that pile of folding to deal with later. So as you're taking things off the line, just do a quick fold and put them straight in the basket. You'll get the hang of that pretty quickly if you haven't done it before. It means that you're not getting as many wrinkles either, so your ironing will be a lot better. Next point is to develop your own patterns. Okay, this is a little bit daggy of me, but this is what I do. If I'm folding at the back in our outdoor area and then I'm walking back into the house to put our washing away, before I put the folding into the basket, I think about which room I'm going to walk past first when I get back in the house. Okay, so the pattern I go through is I grab the basket, I walk through the house, past the box that we put our ironing in, so that stuff always goes on the top of the basket and I put that away first. Then I walk past our bedroom next, so our sleepwear and underwear for the parents goes next in the basket for me to put away. Then I walk past George's room, so her washing is next, and Sophie's room is the last room that I reach. So her washing is always at the bottom of the basket when I'm doing the folding, and then it's one smooth motion when I go back in the house. And the kids know if I'm holding that washing basket, they can follow me around the house and ask questions, but they know that I'm not putting that basket down until all of those clothes are away. Easy. It's even easier if you're doing the thing that I mentioned about having a particular type of washing for each day, because then you go to just one spot and put it away. So yeah, however you do it, it'll be a lot easier. Okay, it's time to talk about my top 5 laundry tools. These are my favorites. Number 1 is called a punch color catcher. You can get these at Coles for around about $6, and I want to thank my lovely friend Julie, who did a workshop with me a couple of years ago, for introducing me to these, because I had no idea they existed back then. If you've got clothes, you know when this is really handy? You know when you're trying to wash like your school kids' clothes and you think, okay, well, they're all in blue or green uniforms, but then I've got white socks that I need to wash, and I want to wash all the kids' stuff together so their school clothes are ready to go, but I don't want the blue to run into the white. This is where these things are awesome. You stick one sheet of this in with your washing and it prevents the colour from running, and boy, does it work. For $6, you never get pink socks or light blue socks when they started out white. Love it. Thank you, Julie, for that heads up. My second favourite laundry tool, I've mentioned it before, is a foldable washing basket. It takes that overwhelm away. You know what? You can even put these in the cupboards in your kids' room as well. And if you find that you're not actually using it that often, then you can use it to store other stuff as well. But just to have it available to take away that overwhelm, that look of, oh no, I've got washing all over the floor, you'd be surprised at the difference it makes to have that. So yeah, $10 at Kmart, nice and easy. This is my favourite for hanging washing. You can get these from $2 and up. I think I've seen them at the reject shop for even cheaper than that. They're peg hangers. So you just hang the big hook on your washing line and you peg all your socks and undies on those so that you're not using a real peg for each one and taking forever to hang the washing. It's so quick and easy to use these, and they also are small enough for you to hang them on the edge of a clothes airer if you're doing the kids' clothes on one of those little clothes horses that I showed you before. They'll fit on there as well. I hang socks, undies, little hats, baby singlets, even onesies for little newborn babies will fit on those peg hangers. Face washers, tea towels, I'll even put tea towels on there. Sometimes I'll use 2 of those little pegs to hang it, but boy, it saves so much space on my washing line that I can get more washing done if I need to on a particularly rainy day. Next is my favourite tools for ironing. I'm a big believer in ironing being more enjoyable if you have a good quality iron. So whether or not you have a couple of $100 or a few $100 or you need to save up gift cards for your birthday, honestly guys, if you really hate ironing, getting a decent iron will make you feel a lot better about it. My 2 favourites are the Morphy Richards style. These are nice and smooth. They retail around about, I think it's about $150 or $200, but it's definitely worth saving up for that one because they tend to glide over your clothes. They're nice and quiet. They're not particularly heavy. And you just enjoy ironing a lot more with those. And my absolute favorite in the whole world is the Philips Perfect Care. This baby holds so much water down the bottom of it, and it runs on all of the steam from the water. You don't actually have any control over how hot the iron is for this. It's all one setting, and you can do anything: silk, lace, wool, cotton, linen. I do it all with this iron, and I never have to stop and adjust or sort out what I'm ironing when. I just go through everything in one go. Really, really good. These things retailed at about $900 a few years ago, and I think they've gone down to about $500 now. So yes, they're a big investment, but if you do a lot of ironing and you really, really hate it, that's the one I would point you to in the shop. Let's talk ironing boards next. This is another area where I think it's worth spending a little bit of money on in order to make the job easier and more enjoyable, particularly if you guys are going to be doing a lot of ironing. So remember, if you're not somebody who irons, then you can feel free to skip this slide. But if you are a person who does a lot of ironing and you really don't enjoy it, then just as getting a good quality iron will make the job easier, a good quality ironing board will make the job easier as well. So the two that I would recommend, one for your regular sized iron, like that Morphy Richards one that we looked at. That one I would get, this is from Bunnings, this one on the left here. The brand is called LTW, and the ironing board is one of those ones that's nice and sturdy. It has a foam underlay. It's not rickety at all. You can maneuver the height on it, and it sits the iron comfortably at the end. It's nothing fancy, but it's really good quality, and it will last you a really long time, and you can stand there and do ironing for a long time if you need to. My other choice, if you're going with a Philips Perfect Care system, then I would go with the ironing board that matches it. So you can get an ironing board called a Philips Easy 8. This picture is from a little while ago, so they might look slightly different now, but the premise is the same. This little guy has shoulder wings on it. So if you're ironing, you know, like a cardi or a business shirt or something like that, where you normally find you have to move it 2 or 3 times when you're ironing, all you have to do is pop these shoulder wings up, and you can iron the whole back and shoulder area of your shirt or your top without having to do all those maneuvering around the board movements. It sounds like a little thing, but when you're doing a whole basket of ironing, it saves a lot of time to do it that way. So that's why I really like that ironing board. Also, it's just as sturdy. It's even more lightweight than the other one, but it's still very sturdy to use. And the really, really good thing about this one is you can see right at the back here on the base, this area here where you put the iron, that's actually really, really big and really, really strong, and can hold that whole massive Perfect Care system on there without buckling, which is really good. It's hard to see here too, but there's this little wire part here. If you stand that up, it's actually a rack for coat hangers as well, so you can really get your groove on and your rhythm going when you're doing your ironing with that board. So yes, if you're talking about ironing, those are the tools that I recommend to make the job a little bit easier and more enjoyable. I also recommend having a TV in front of you and watching your favorite show or movie at the same time, or at least having a really nice, you know, like a little radio, and have some nice music playing while you're doing ironing as well. Also, I would recommend, if your kids are high school age and up, then teach them how to iron if you haven't already, because from about age 12 onward, I remember when we were kids, we learned how to iron when we first went to high school. There's nothing wrong with teaching the kids how to do that and take pride in their own clothing. It's time now to get to the really fun part of the training. We're going to talk about my little tips and tricks. Some of them are sneaky, some are a bit daggy, but all of them will help you out with staying on top of your washing. Now, with these ones, you may have come across some of these before. You might already be doing them, or they might be brand new and you've never seen them before or heard of them before. Either way, I'm hoping that you walk away with a sense of, oh yeah, this is something I can do today when I do my next load of washing, and hopefully make that a little bit easier for you. So let's talk sneaky little tricks. The first thing that I have to point out is, let's stop for a second and think about whether or not, I'm nervous saying this out loud, whether or not you actually need to wash all of your clothes every time they're worn. Okay, so I want you guys to think about, you know, with your clothing, what are some things that you can wear a couple of times or a few times before you actually wash them? I know personally, when I'm wearing jeans, the very first time I put them on, and this may just be because I really like cupcakes, but the very first time I put my jeans on, they're always just that little bit too tight and rigid, and I don't know, I feel like a statue walking around in them. They're just not very comfy. But if I wear my jeans twice, they're beautiful and soft and they look better, and yeah, I don't know, they're just better. Same with blazers. I wear them a couple of times before they need taking care of. Coats are the same. To be honest, scarves as well. Things that don't get dirty really easily. Certainly things that don't get smelly really easily. I know this is awkward to talk about, guys, but I think it's really important to remember that, you know, real life sometimes is about not having to be perfect all the time. So I'm not saying you should wear your clothes 10 days in a row, not have showers and never wash them, but I do think it's important to take a look at what you're wearing and have a look at, you know, the material that's used, whether or not you actually get stains on them. You know, take a look at them and just think to yourself, you know, is this something that I can wear a couple of times? Or you could go with that idea of having, you know, clothes that you wear out and about, and house clothes as well that you wear a couple of times, and you'll get a bit more wear out of your clothes that way. All right, sheets. Let's talk a bit about how to wash them less but still be fresh. That sounds terrible now that I'm saying it out loud. But actually what I mean is this. A lot of people, when they buy a sheet set, they'll get a set with a flat sheet, a fitted sheet, and pillowcases. And a lot of the clients that I work with will say to me, I hate the fact that I get a flat sheet because I never ever use it and it just sits in the cupboard and it never actually gets taken out. And what I say to those clients is use the flat sheet that comes with the set, both in summer and in winter, because it's going to save you a lot of time with your washing. Okay, so instead of just making your bed with your fitted sheet and then you quilt on top, a lot of us have quilts with quilt covers now, so we think, oh, we don't need a flat sheet, we'll just put the quilt on top. I would actually do your fitted sheet and your flat sheet first and then your quilt on top. In the summer, you're going to be hot anyway and want to kick that quilt off, so your flat sheet is going to be your cover. In the winter, you can do with all the warmth you can get, so having that extra layer is very handy. But here's where I love it the most. If you're washing your bed clothes, then if you're using a flat sheet, you're not getting, you know, sweat or anything on your quilt cover. Okay, so when you do your washing once a week, all you have to do is wash the fitted sheet, the flat sheet, and the pillowcases that your head goes on. And then if you have, you know, that setup where you have like extra pillows that match the quilt cover and pillows that match the sheets, yeah, you only have to wash the ones that your body and your head have been on. The other things are pretty much just window dressing, and you can afford to wash them every fortnight, sometimes every month in some households. So yeah, just some food for thought for you there, guys. Okay, let's talk a little bit less sneaky, but a little bit more daggy. Hanging the washing. I find hanging the washing so much easier if I'm wearing a little apron, a little apron that has a front pocket on it, and I dump all of the pegs into the pocket. You know that feeling when you're hanging the washing and you've got to pick up a piece of washing, pick up 2 pegs out of the peg holder, go and hang it up, walk back to the washing basket, pick up another piece of clothing, pick up another 2 pegs. You see where I'm going here? So what I like to do instead is get one of those kind of waitressy looking aprons. You know, you can get them at kitchen stores, Spotlight. You can make your own if you wanted to. Second-hand places will have tons of these babies for like $1 or $2. But basically, I just put that apron on, put the pegs in the pocket, and then what I do is I grab, you know, 3 or 4 pieces of clothing, throw them over my shoulder and hang them all in the one go. So I'm not going back and forth to the basket. It saves a lot of time when you consider how many trips you make when you're hanging a whole basket of washing, and it makes things a whole lot easier. So yeah, go and grab an apron for your pegs, everybody, if you're not doing it already. On the subject of aprons, we are going still a little bit daggy here. Do you remember years and years and years ago? Actually, I can't say for sure if it happened in real life, but I used to see it on TV and, you know, in books and stuff, you'd come across it. What happened to that era where everybody just wore aprons over their nice clothes so that they didn't get dirty? Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I'm going around about the house and I'm cooking and cleaning and chasing after the kids or vacuuming or doing any sort of chore around the house, I get pretty dirty, pretty dusty. The idea of wearing an apron on top of my clothes really, really helps me out because it means I can get ready for the day first thing in the morning, right? So it doesn't matter what's going on. If I have to leave the house, I'm ready to go from the first thing in the morning. I've got an apron on top, so it doesn't matter what I have to do. If I get any mess on me, it's going on the apron and not on my actual clothes. So for those of you out there who are going, well, that's what aprons are for, everybody knows that, I totally agree with you, but I don't see it happening very often anymore. So I wanted to mention aprons, just everyday aprons to you guys today, in case that's something that will make your morning flow a lot easier and allow you to get ready in your nice clothes earlier. You're not getting your nice clothes stained and ruined and, you know, needing to wash them as often. So yeah, that really helps. Okay, the last tip I want to share with you for this slide is how to keep your sheets tidy when you pack them. This isn't actually about doing the washing, but I find a lot of people delay things like washing bedclothes because getting them off the line and putting them away is actually really frustrating. It's driving people crazy, and it's mainly because of fitted sheets. They're really hard to fold and they always look really messy. They don't fit in your linen cupboard properly. You know, I hear this time and time again, and I completely agree with you guys. But good news, I have a little video for you that teaches you how you can fold a fitted sheet pretty easily. It is not the best quality video I've ever made. It's back when I used to film videos on my iPad, but it's a nice, easy way of learning the little steps that make fitted sheet folding easier. I have a little trick that I use that uses the corners of the sheets and the actual seam in the corners. There's a little trick on how to place those seams so that you can fold the fitted sheet perfectly. So what I'm going to do, just in case that is something that will make your life easier, I'm going to send you the link to that video so you can go and check it out. I've just hosted it on YouTube. You might have already seen it before. I will warn you that I do a fair bit of rambling in that video, and I don't know if you noticed, but I do a fair bit of rambling anyway. So if you are watching that video and you want me to get to the point, just skip ahead a minute or so and then we'll get straight into it. All right, the next thing I want to say is if fitted sheets drive you crazy but you don't want to learn how to fold them, then my lovely friend Lisa has a really good trick in her house. She just rolls up those fitted sheets, sticks them in a pillowcase so they look really tidy, and puts them in the linen cupboard that way. And then done. Took her 2 seconds to do it. Her linen cupboard still looks nice and neat and tidy, and she has all her sanity. So thank you, Lisa, for sharing that with me. Okay, so we're coming up to the last little bit of the presentation, guys. I have a couple more things that I want to share with you, but here is the really, really big thing that I want you to take away. If there's only one thing that you remember of this whole presentation, it's this. Remember that getting on top of your laundry is just like everything else in life. All you need to do is create and follow a simple system, and you'll be on top of it in no time. Honestly, that is the key to making life easier in general. Okay, all you need to do is find something very simple, a simple little rhythm or a simple little pattern or a simple little tweak in your mindset. Remember when we did perfect versus easy before? That sort of activity I actually apply to pretty much everything in my life, and everything that I work with clients on is using perfect versus easy as well. Just because it's that simple, it gives you results straight away, and it means that you don't have to stress about life anymore. I just think it's really important when something's overwhelming you to take a couple of minutes and sit down and work out why you're feeling overwhelmed or what's getting in the way of the goal that you want to accomplish. This sort of thinking doesn't have to be left for major career goals or big family goals or anything like that. You can use an activity like this for the little things, for the washing, for the dishes, for keeping the house tidy. It gives you a chance to step back, look at it with fresh eyes, and focus on overcoming the issue instead of feeling like you're getting drowned by the issue. Now, if you like the idea of taking that perfect versus easy activity and applying it to other areas of your life, but you don't have a lot of time to sit down and do it all by yourself, then that's okay too. I can hold your hand through it. We've taken that premise and used it in the email course that I have for overwhelmed mums. It's just a short and simple email course called Less Mess, Less Stress and More Calm. And it's an email course that I send out to mums to help them organize their home within around 7 days. I built the whole course based on that perfect versus easy activity, and we cover all different topics over those 7 days. So you can either dip in and out and take the ones that are most relevant to you, or you can do it from start to finish. Each day you just get a little note from me in your inbox with a description of what you're learning and a little task to do that will help get rid of that overwhelm that you have in your life. So we cover things like how to keep your whole house tidy, how to create a simple and effective cleaning routine, how to declutter your home and free up a bit of extra space, and how to encourage your family to help you out more around the house. And I really think that's a big one, you know. I think a lot of us feel like we're nagging all the time and we never get any help. So we're always, you know, cranky and exhausted and overworked at the same time. So I think finding a way to get your family to help you out is really, really important. Just as important as creating simple ways to do things around the home. So that should really make a difference as well. If you need that little bit of a helping hand or you want somebody to walk you through the steps, then make sure you go ahead and do that, because it does make a really big difference within a short amount of a time frame. So that should help out a lot. We've got some nice emails coming in from ladies who have done this course already, who have moved from a place of anxiety to a place of, you know, peace and calm and general happiness in everyday life. And I have to say, it's a beautiful thing to be able to help people with that, because I think that everybody should have a chance to really just enjoy every day, no matter what they're doing in their time. And yeah, it just makes me feel good to help people out. Some of the things that people are saying as well is that not only are their homes looking better, but they feel like a completely different person. And some of the feedback we're getting from people includes things coming from their families and their loved ones saying, wow, the change in you has been amazing. You know, you're enjoying every day, you're relaxed, it's a visible difference that we see. How lovely is that, you know, that your family is seeing that sort of change as well. And, you know, it gives them a bit of an eye-opener too into how much you do, I think, when you see changes around the home like that. So yeah, if that sounds like it's something that will give you a hand, you know, if you've somebody who's tried to get organised in the past but it's been really hard to stick with it, or if you really would like to get more organised but you feel like there's already too much on your plate and you don't have time to do it, or if, you know, you've got friends and family who are naturally organised but you're not and you feel really bad about that, or if you're like me and you used to be really organised but then you became a mum and everything just got too much, then that's when I'd recommend doing that course. And, you know, you get some feedback from me each day as well. It gives you the opportunity to email me every day. I have a little feedback that I do via email with people where they can take photos of their spaces that they're organising and send it through to me, or get some personal feedback on a particular problem that they're having within their home. That's fine. You know, I want to be there for you guys as well if you need that sort of help. So the course only costs $47. It's very short, it's very simple, it fits in with your everyday life. And if you keep those emails in your inbox, you can do it once a year if you want to. You have access to this forever. Just make sure you don't throw the emails out. You can talk with me every day via email on how you're going. And for those of you who have sat down with me today and hung in there for the whole webinar and talked to laundry with me, I want to give you a bit of a gift. So I have the House and Family binder that we sell here at Beautifully Organised. It normally retails for $30, and we do put it on special occasionally, so you may have seen that before. But if anybody's thinking about taking up that less mess, less stress and more calm course, I want to give that to you as a gift, just to help you along the way. It's got quite a few little pages in it that will help you organize your home, and most of my clients who have this just print it out from their home computer, stick it in a folder that they have around the house already, and use it to make small changes in their life over a long period of time. So you've got heaps of things in there that you can use as well. You know, there's a beautiful morning routine in there that you can give to your kids that has words and pictures for the kids who are younger and can't read yet. There's a lovely little list in there where you can keep track of anything you've borrowed off somebody, so that you remember how long you've had it for, where you've put it, when it's due to go back, and who to give it back to. I'm a big fan of to-do lists being very simple, so we have these 2 pages inside that binder where you get to brain dump everything you have to do, and then you take the 8 most important ones and put them on your actual list for that day. And feel free to email me if you want some help with how to prioritize those sorts of tasks. If you're using this binder, I want you to be able to use it in the most effective way possible. There's also a little list in there where you can list everybody in your family's dinner family favorites. So we print this out and put this in our pantry, and it'll say here, you know, Dad or Sophie or Georgia or Mum, and then I get them to tell me 2 or 3 of their favourite dinners, and I write them down in this column. And then if there's a special place where the recipe is, we write them down in this column. So then I stick that inside my pantry, and I always have dinner ideas in case I get really stuck. So yeah, that's pretty good. We also have the end of day wrap up sheet here. It's just a list of things that I usually recommend for my mummy clients to do before they go to bed each night, so that they start the morning really smoothly and don't have to worry about what have they forgotten to do. So that's a handy one to print out, laminate and stick somewhere, or just have in a folder and tick off every day. Nice little sheet here for babysitter notes if somebody's coming over to look after the kids. This has a few different categories of little hints to leave them to make that a little bit easier. And on the right hand side here, we have a couple of pages that help you plan out your meals during the week. This is really, really handy because not only does it have a space for each day of the week, but it's got a little space where you can write down what you're actually doing that day, because whether or not you're having a busy day, you know, like what if you've got soccer practice in the afternoon, before you go home and start cooking dinner, those things do influence how much time you have to get dinner ready. And so it should go into your meal planning so that you know whether or not you need to do a quick and easy meal that night or a slow cook meal that night or something like that. So that's there. Bit of a what's on this week so the family can track who's doing what. You just put everybody's name up here. And here are the days of the week. And then, you know, you can see at a glance who's going to a birthday party, who's got a work meeting, who's doing whatever on each day. And then down the bottom we have weekly cleaning made easy. This is my signature 4-step system to keeping your house really tidy, doing 1 room a day. So that's going to help guide you along. 4 steps and you've got clean rooms every day of the week. So very handy. And that's just a few of them too. There's more prints within that downloadable binder and it's really easy to use. You just get a digital file emailed to you and you open it up on your own computer, print out the pages when you need them. So you can print a lot of them out in one go, or you could just wait and print them one at a time if you want. It's all designed to fit in with your life, how you run it, so it's easier for you. So if that sounds like something that will help you out and you want to take advantage of that, then all you have to do is go to that web address, bit.ly/LMLS course, so bit.ly/less mess, less stress course. Type that in, you can go ahead and get the course, and then I will email you the binder as well for free. And that is enough babbling on from me, I guess, from one time. I want to say thank you so much, everybody, for listening in. I hope that I have been able to provide you with some value today. I hope that you're walking away with some ideas on how to make your laundry a little bit easier, free up a bit of your time, make sure you've got the ability to relax a bit more and just have fun with your family and not be slogging it out over the washing machine all the time. So yeah, if it has given you any value, please send me an email, marissa@beautifulyorganized.com, and let me know because I'd love to hear from you. And then yeah, I'm going to say goodbye, guys. I want to say thank you so much. I've really enjoyed chatting with you, and I hope to see you again soon, whether that be on the blog at beautifulyorganized.com or in person if we work together, you know, however it is. I'm looking forward to seeing more of you. Okay, I'll see you soon, everyone. Bye.